The old Whitmore House stood on a hill overlooking the town. It was a grand Victorian mansion, once a symbol of prosperity. Now it was a specter of its former glory, shrouded in unsettling tales and local legends. The house had been empty for decades, abandoned after a series of tragic events. Neighbors whispered about the Whitmore family curse, their voices hushed and fearful. The house stood as a looming reminder of the darkness that can consume even the most idyllic settings. Sarah, a bright-eyed art student, was drawn to the enigmatic aura of the Whitmore House. She was intrigued by its dark history, seeing a tragic beauty in its decay. Sarah learned about Clara Whitmore, a talented artist who once resided there. Clara's life was cut short under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind an unfinished masterpiece. The tale resonated with Sarah, who felt a kinship with the forgotten artist. She decided to make the Whitmore House the subject of her final project, hoping to unravel the mystery of Clara's unfinished work. As Sarah stepped inside the Whitmore House, the air grew heavy. Dust motes danced in the faint rays of sunlight that pierced the boarded-up windows. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the sound of her own footsteps. The scent of decay clung to the air, a musty reminder of the house's long abandonment. Then she heard it, a whisper, faint and indistinct. It seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, a low murmur that sent chills down her spine. Sarah paused, holding her breath, her heart pounding in her chest. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, Sarah was determined to uncover the stories hidden within the Whitmore House. She moved cautiously through the darkened rooms, her hand trailing along the dusty furniture. She discovered an old art studio, its easel and brushes still in place. It was as if Clara had just stepped away. A half-finished portrait of a woman with haunted eyes rested on the easel, captivating Sarah with its raw emotion. The whispers grew stronger as she neared the painting, seeming to emanate from the canvas itself. As days turned into nights, Sarah found herself drawn back to the Whitmore House, captivated by the unfinished portrait and the whispers that seemed to beckon her. She felt an inexplicable connection to Clara, sensing a kindred spirit in the deceased artist's work. One evening, while studying the portrait, Sarah felt a cold spot wash over her. She turned, her heart in her throat, and saw her, a spectral figure standing in the shadows. It was Clara, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and urgency. The whispers intensified, swirling around Sarah, and she knew she was no longer alone. The whispers began to take shape, forming coherent sentences, urging Sarah to finish the portrait. Clara's ghostly presence became more pronounced, her spectral hand guiding Sarah's brushstrokes. Driven by a force she couldn't explain, Sarah found herself consumed by the task, spending every waking moment in the Whitmore House. She felt a growing sense of dread, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was meant to complete Clara's final work. The lines between reality and the spectral world blurred, and Sarah found herself slipping deeper into the mystery of the Whitmore House. The deeper Sarah delved into the portrait, the more disturbing the whispers became. They spoke of betrayal, of a life cut short, of a desperate need for revenge. The once gentle guidance turned demanding, the spectral hand now cold and forceful, pulling Sarah deeper into the darkness. The house seemed to react to the painting's progress, the shadows deepening, the whispers turning into chilling screams. Sarah felt a growing terror, realizing she had stumbled into something far more sinister than she could have ever imagined. Section 8. Paintings Come Alive. As Sarah added the final strokes to the portrait, the Whitmore House erupted in a cacophony of supernatural chaos. The whispers reached a deafening crescendo, the air grew thick and heavy, and the temperature plummeted. Paintings on the walls came to life, their subjects writhing in silent torment. The ghostly figure of Clara materialized before Sarah, her eyes blazing with a chilling intensity. Sarah stumbled back, dropping her brush, her heart pounding against her ribs. The house was alive, consumed by a rage that threatened to swallow her whole. Section 9. Sarah's Escape. Panic surged through Sarah. She had to escape the Whitmore House and the supernatural fury she had unleashed. She scrambled back, dodging falling objects and spectral figures that reached for her with icy fingers. The once familiar rooms had transformed into a terrifying labyrinth, the air thick with whispers and screams. She raced through the darkened hallways, her lungs burning, her every instinct screaming at her to flee. Finally, she burst through the front door, stumbling onto the overgrown lawn, gasping for breath. Section 10. The Aftermath. Sarah never returned to the Whitmore house. She abandoned her art project, haunted by the memory of that night. The whispers followed her, echoing in her dreams, reminding her of the terror she experienced. She couldn't escape the feeling that she had been a pawn in a much larger, more sinister game. The experience left her shaken, her youthful curiosity replaced by a lingering fear of the unknown. She often wondered about the whispers, about Clara's unfinished business, and the true cost of her brush with the supernatural. Section 11. Unfinished business. The Whitmore house still stands on the hill, a haunting reminder of the secrets held within its walls. Locals still whisper about the young art student who dared to disturb the peace of the old mansion. They say the whispers can still be heard, beckoning those brave enough to listen. And within the decaying walls of the abandoned art studio, Clara's unfinished masterpiece hangs, a testament to a life cut short, and a legacy of unanswered questions. The truth of what happened that night remains a mystery, a chilling tale whispered on the wind.